Joining us now is Gabrielle Cuccia, former Trump White House staffer. Gabrielle, great to see you again. Let's start with Russiagate, because Attorney General Pam Bondi has reportedly ordered federal prosecutors to launch a grand jury investigation into former Obama administration officials, which will examine accusations of manufacturing intelligence about Russia's 2016 election interference in the US. Now, this comes after Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard released declassified documents last month, and Fox News reports that Pam Bondi believes there is clear cause for deep concern and a need for next steps. What are you expecting to come from this?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Gabriella. Absolutely. This is like the good news that we are all looking for here in the United States, especially, of course, with the conservative party, in the sense that this was something that President Trump had even ran on, saying that he was well and fully aware that there was a quote unquote deep state, that there was a higher power of which has garnered not only our own institutions within the United States government, but certainly amongst even our Five Eyes. And a lot of that documentation that we've seen even during the Biden administration that came on out was talking about how our own intelligence agencies were working with the Five Eyes to get around all these loopholes in executing surveillance on Trump officials, in which a lot of those officials were not very much trained when it comes to intelligence capabilities, and unfortunately fell at the hand of, say, our FBI services or even our CIA. So what I anticipate is that there's going to be more information. I think, just to be quite frank with you, this is good news for us, as I just stated in the beginning of this. But the ultimate question is whether or not those that are guilty of, say, utilizing allies or adversaries of other nations and weaponizing our own government to go after a political opponent, whether it's someone on the left or on the right. The biggest element is, are we going to see result? Will they get a trial? Will they be put behind bars if found guilty? Those are the types of results that I would be hoping for. I don't anticipate that happening until, maybe even years down the road. There's so much that we've talked about just in this term too, of which we've yet to even see actual justice when we talk about, Biden and the auto pen, or say, President Trump very famously saying on the debate stage that Hillary Clinton, if he was in charge, she'd be going to jail. We're still all holding on to those words because we want to see more details, and we want these people who have been projected to be of quote unquote deep state or not working in America's best interest to be held accountable, because those are very strong and very serious allegations. And a lot of America voted President Trump in for those purposes, to see those come to light. So at a bare minimum, I anticipate that the DOJ is certainly going to have hearings and have these people be called to the stand. But ultimately, what results out of that is the bigger picture. So I don't want to put anything down stamped in writing just yet, because there's a lot of other laundry list items that we haven't forgotten about yet, Gabriella.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Democrats. Elizabeth Warren has been praising Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani, who's running for New York City mayor. And as we know, he's as radical as it gets. He's previously called to defund the police, to Trump-proof New York City and shift the city's tax burden onto richer and whiter neighbourhoods. But here is Elizabeth Warren speaking alongside Mamdani at a campaign event.
When someone stands up and says, I will lead this city by making it more affordable. And here are my plans, real plans to deliver on childcare, plans to deliver on housing, plans to deliver. We're going to experiment. We're going to try things on groceries. That is the Democratic message.
Elizabeth Warren was also asked by Fox News if Mamdani was what the future of the Democratic Party should look like, and her answer was, you bet. I mean, what do you make of this?
I hope that she's wrong, because that wouldn't be looking too hot. I mean, even if you look at, say, Elizabeth Warren from Massachusetts, or Mamdani coming from New York. I mean, as a New Yorker myself, New York and Massachusetts are one of the most expensive states to live in. Of course, albeit you have Boston and Manhattan driving those numbers, but on the outskirts as well, these individuals that live in these states are being hit by a terrible economy, by high grocery prices. And also, I laugh when she talks about the childcare cost burden, because of the top 10 states in the United States, Massachusetts and New York lead the way when it comes to the high cost in childcare. Again, these are Democratic states. So when they say that this is the future or this is the Democratic way, well, shoot, we being from New York, or say someone living in Massachusetts, has been living the Democratic way, and it hasn't been going well. Also, on top of that, you want to talk about the Democratic way. One of the stakeholders of the Democratic Party was fighting tooth and nail to maintain affirmative action. And I can't help myself. I have to always bring this up with Elizabeth Warren, but she was the same person that was exercising the Democratic way and using a Democratic program to get her own benefit in affirmative action by claiming that she was Native American on the bar exam. I will never let that one go. And that should tell people enough outside of the horrible history of what it costs and what the effects are, whether it's crime or just your day-to-day childcare, the education system. I mean, shoot, you name it. It's not looking good for Massachusetts or New York. So there's such a delusion here that I'm not surprised that she's just latching on, and probably more likely latching on to Mom Donnie and saying he's the future, because who knows? I anticipate that this guy, he's pretty darn young. I think he's going to be around for a while. And I don't say that because I think that he's this great leader, but it's the same. I mean, how many times do we have to see the same blueprint? This is like an AOC 2.0 type of situation. And she's been stuck around the block for a long time at this rate. And everybody kind of laughed. And of course I do too, but these people are still here, and that's a bigger issue. So I think she's teeing herself up well to kind of cozy up with those that she ought to cozy up with to stay in the position that she is in right here, right now. Otherwise, if they had half a brain, they'd realize what's going on in their own state, huh?